Hello, I'm Anthony, putting together this album called The River at the moment. What we've got on screen is the latest iteration of the song order, and I still don't think it's final. I'm still playing around with various transitions between the different songs, and I've begun actively working on the transitions themselves. The one that I chose to start with, kind of randomly, was the mirror song to Insomnia. And basically what I did was I listened to the whole thing. So I output this 52 minutes of music to an MP3 file, loaded it into Spotify, and I've basically been listening to it on my phone, basically if I'm doing housework or gardening or whatever. And each time I hear something interesting, I'm making a quick note of it on my phone. So what we've got here is really serving two different purposes. The stuff at the top, these are the things that basically just remind us for the future when I come to rewrite some of these songs or rework them. You can see, for instance, that I'm really not impressed with the production of Breath of Air. The start is awful, the guitars are tinny, the rhythm's bad, the production's dull. So it's just like, it's the song that needs the most work. I don't know why, I just mustn't have been on particularly good form when I put that one together. Except for the bass, which sounds pretty good on it. And I've also made a note somewhere else. The Insomnia bass sound is really good. So I'm identifying the particular sounds in each of these songs where I think that can be redone. That's a sound that I'm happy to use again, and try to figure out why I particularly like it, whether it's the recording, the production, the mixing, whatever, that I've just happened to get right, and maybe I can propagate that through into some of the other songs. Some of the transitions between the songs are good or bad, so I'm making notes of them. This second part of the notes section down below is the current play order and my latest thoughts on the various songs. And so you can see that I'm basically I think the first time through with Evermore to Snowfall, I thought it needed a transition. The second time, without reading these notes, I'm just listening to this thing, I didn't think it needed a transition. And so when I went back into my notes to see what I'd written previously, I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I'll have a bit more of a think about that. So I just bunged a question mark in. And I've actually made the start on one as well. So we've got Mirror Song into Insomnia. I knew I wanted a transition. So let's have a listen to it. What we basically got is a song that's in B, transitioning into a song in G Phrygian. So what I actually did was picked out the notes at the end of Mirror Song, and it kind of arpeggios down over more of an E. It feels like an E. And so I picked out the notes of this little bass run right at the very end of the song. And so I picked out that motif. You'll hear it in the transition. The thing itself is fundamentally in the key of B major, but it's actually playing more along the lines of E Lydian. And when I was playing the little guitar ditty that goes over the top of this thing, I was basically thinking and playing in E Lydian. Let's hear it and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more.
From a distance to the sound of doorbell.
Okay, so this bass is going to get repeated by the guitar. From this point onwards, I'm basically kind of jamming along in E Lydian. This is very rough, by the way. Now I'm going to prepare for the transition to G sharp. So I'm now thinking, how do I get to G sharp? And there we go. So that can now safely fade out. And so when Insomnia starts, which is in G sharp Phrygian, we're in the right key. So that's really the intention of these transitions, to give me a way to get really comfortably from one key to another. If the songs feel like they're jarring when I'm playing them back, I'm doing one of these things. If they work absolutely fine, that's no problem at all. But more often than not, I'm thinking I could improve that. I could do something to basically get those two pieces of music to fit together better. And it just seems sensible to me to use the motifs at the beginning and end of each of the pieces of music to do that job. So this is something I've never really tried before, completely new territory for me, having an absolute whale of a time, but spending an awful lot of time just kind of jotting around with notes and messing around with different ideas without actually getting anything down. So this is the first time that I've recorded anything. It's here at the moment just to give me some sort of basic idea of whether or not the concept works. That's literally just 2 layers of guitars and a completely static drum line, no bass line, no frills, no production, absolutely nothing whatsoever. I just wanted to get it into this overall kind of audio project that I've got, where I'm generating these MP3 files and then I can go away and listen to the thing in some sort of context. I'm discovering that this whole process is really slow because I'm having to deal with a 52-minute piece of music here, and I'm just not good enough at seeing the future to do anything other than listen to the damn thing. It's the only way that I can come to any conclusions. I can't visualize this stuff mentally. I'm not Mozart. So yeah, even though it's really slow, I am having the funnest the funnest time. I am having an absolute blast doing it. It's great fun. I'm really looking forward to doing the other little instrumental interludes without having to worry about lyrics. It's kind of a relief not to have to worry about lyrics. They are just so hard. Definitely the hardest aspect of songwriting for me. And so doing these little musical interludes is kind of like having a holiday, because I get to do all of the easiest bits of music without having to worry about lyrics. Anyway, thought I'd check in because I've not given you an update on what's going on with this thing for a while. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please hit the like button. I'll see you next time. Thanks very much.